Welcome. Well, if you're new to the channel, my name's Andy. In May of last year I split with my ex, and having nowhere to live, I found this abandoned sailboat for €400. She was in pretty poor shape, the engine was in bits, the sailboards were floating. I gave myself 6 weeks to get her back in the water and up and running, and I've been fixing her ever since. So if you like that sort of thing, why don't you like and subscribe and join me on the journey? Hit the notify as well, you get notified of new videos, and it's all free.
Hi everyone. So before I start, I want to say a big thank you because we've hit a milestone today, 4,000 watch hours. So thank you ever so much. I started this channel as a bit of fun, and it seems as though the things I enjoy are things that you enjoy, so long may it continue. So today, back on the boat. I've been away for a week, so I'm back and recharged and ready to crack on. I want to finish off, if I can, the saloon area. Under where you walk on deck is still brown and old adhesive and things like that. So I've been to the wood place today, and I've got loads of plywood. So we're going to basically construct a plywood ceiling, and then I'll paint it with epoxy and then white paint and make it look all nice and pretty. So it's going to take me probably a couple of days to do that. They've cut them roughly to size. They're a little bit oversized, so I'm going to need to trim them down, but that's to plan really. So yeah, I'm going to crack on.
We're due a big storm, so basically I'm confined to indoor jobs anyway, so I'm going to be cracking on with this. I've got enough plywood. It's in the car at the moment because it's too big to come inside really. If I bring it inside, then I can't basically walk around. So I've got the other side to do. Behind me you can see that's already got white cover, but over the galley I've got another piece there, and I've got enough plywood to do both sides. Yeah, if all goes to plan, I should have this done by the weekend, and then we can start on the next job, which is trim in the head and trim in the rear cabin. And then all that's left is that front cabin to do, and the water pipes, which I haven't even thought about doing. I've left the water tank empty because I just don't trust it at the moment. Don't know what bacteria is in there or anything, so it's going to have a couple of runs through with some purification stuff and what have you. So I want to put new pipes in first. I want to get new taps for the sinks, and then I need to think about what I can do about that galley countertop. And I've got the inserts for the sinks to do as well. I've got the plywood for that. So yeah, lots of exciting things to do over the next couple of days basically.
Morning people. Well, the worst of the storm from last night is over, and Driscoll's has done alright. So winds were touching maybe 35 knots, 37, but I've got no wind speed indicator, so I couldn't tell you exactly, but yeah, it was alright. So last night I managed to get one side of the roof lining almost complete. I'll show you. So forgive the mess, I'm going to tidy all this up today, but underside here you can see what it's going to look like. That looks a lot better. It needs painting, and then
this next piece here, I need to trim a new piece for this, which I'm going to do today. And it's going to then be fastened up with panel pins. So once it's fastened up, the chain plate should poke through quite nicely, and it'll look pretty. The offcut that I've got that I used as a template, I'm going to then alter to do this bit. Once I've done that, I'll cut out the real deal from Fresh Ply. We'll get that done today, and again all this lot is going to get tidied up. But the first thing is kettle's on. Plenty of hot water in there because I did a roast chicken dinner last night, so there's loads of washing up as usual. Once I've got these roof linings in, I've got the around the windows to do, and then I can tackle this countertop, which has been bugging me for ages, and we'll get this sorted. So still lots to do. Okay guys, it's starting to get dark, but I wanted to just show you where I've got to. So if I just kneel down a bit underneath here, you can see that I've got the lining there. I'll be sticking it up with some panel pins that will just hold it straight. I've done the lining here as well, and again panel pins will hold that in, and then the joints are here and they are tight, which is good. Then on this side again the lining is in, and then I've got this one underneath Mr. Monkey, which again is all nice and tight. Nice little joint there, and then this one again, they're nice and tight, so when the bit of trim goes in there, and then these are going to be fastened in. So panel pins are going to go horizontally into the dark wood, so they're just holding this up like clips. So that's that. And then what I've done here is I have made these wooden covers for the sinks, so it will fit in there, and then that gives me a surface. So that is to be primed and painted, and then don't know what I'm going to do with this for my kit yet. I think I'm going to paint it. I need to stick this down, but I just need to trim that slightly so that it doesn't come boinging back up again. I'll take the taps off when I do it, and yeah, so nice surface to work on now when we're preparing food and stuff. Once this is painted and all hygienically clean again. Bit of dust on the stove, so I need to sort that out. I need to dust around the companionway, but we are starting to get there. The only thing is that these are going to be way too thick for this. They need really chopping in half, or smaller ones. I might try and chop one in half lengthways and see what happens. But again, the idea being that these will go on here, top, bottom and sides, and then yeah, and then I think what I'll do is I'll get some blinds to go over the windows. So I'll get some made. But yeah, so that's the general plan. So we're getting a lot closer. Got to tidy all my clothes away now, and have a good throw out of old t-shirts and stuff, and yeah, and then once I've done that, the only room left to do is that one through there, which is it's dry, but it's being used as my tool shed at the moment, so I'll need to work out what I'm going to do with all the tools. Morning everyone. Well, it's been a while in coming, but we finally got a glorious day. Not a breath of wind. The sun's peeking up through the clouds there. It's about 11:30 now. And yeah, so the headliner, I've placed it out here and I'm going to give it a layer of epoxy. What I've done is where there have been leaks like this, I've just ringed them so that I can then investigate where they are in position to the boards. But it's not actually that bad. I've just got these two here. This one's fine, this one's fine, and these are fine. So this is the starboard side, and that's the port side, which doesn't surprise me because I've still got a leaky window. But this one I think is a bad repair to the deck where there's been some holes, which might mean that I've got to go in and redo some of the anti-slip to repair it properly. But I noticed it after I started painting anti-slip, and this one looks like it's a bolt, so it should be a fairly simple repair. So yeah, so I'm going to basically give this side a coat of epoxy first. This is the underside, which sits against the flush against the fiberglass, just to protect the wood. And then once this is dried, I'll turn it over and do the other side. A little bit concerned because the temperature is still quite low. What I've got is the West Systems epoxy, but I've only got the slow hardener, which is for higher temperatures, and it says store above 8 degrees. Well, I think it's probably gone below that over the winter in that front cabin, so I'm hoping this is going to be okay. I've mixed it up. I'm just letting it sit for a couple of minutes just to warm up in the sun and take some of the air bubbles out, and then I'll get started. This is going to be my trim, and I've got some wood stain to go on there, so I'm just going to basically paint those as well outside the boat. That's the mistake I made last time, was I painted them in situ with masking tape and it looks horrible. So yeah, so that is the job for this morning. Okay, so that's the first coat of epoxy on. As this is the underside, I'm not too fussed about getting little stones in there and what have you, or air bubbles, but it's just really to seal the wood. So I'm happy with that. These are obviously going to be painted white anyway. Need to turn those over and seal the other side once this is dried. But overall, not looking too bad. These are all stained, ready. They'll need at least one more coat, particularly the first ones I'm doing. Some of these are second coats, so I'm just going to wait and let that dry now, and then start on the next bit. I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but this is where that leak is coming from. See those little indents there? I spotted them once I started to paint the anti-slip, and I think what I'm going to do is grind that out and fiberglass it. Whoever has repaired this, all they've done is just fill it with gel coat and hope for the best, and gel coat is porous, so it's never going to seal. I was hoping the anti-slip paint might cover it, but that's just a vain hope. I mean, I don't think I've got a lot of choice. I'm going to have to do a full repair on that. And grind it back, fiberglass it, gel coat it, and then redo the anti-slip. So that's a sod. I'm going to have to turn the boat around so that it gets the sun on this side as well, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to repair that. Another job I've got to do, apart from cleaning the bird shit off, is reseal this window. So, because this is leaking, not badly, but it is leaking. So I'm going to do that job. But I think, as I say, I've got to turn the boat around first, which is not a bad thing because I've got to do this, and I can do it if I turn the boat around, because the mooring line will be much less intrusive than the lazy line, and it'll yeah, I'll be able to do that, get that finished, so we'll have a nice grey uniform anti-slip all the way across the boat. Having real problems with cameras, SD cards failing, batteries failing, it's unreal. I've been reduced to the iPhone for quite a while, but that's on charge, so I'm trying the Insta 1RS one more time and seeing if I can get it working with a fresh SD card. So it's a lovely day, but there's 45% chance of rain today. There is 75% chance of rain tomorrow. There's a weather front coming in. So yesterday I epoxied the ceiling liners, the headliners, and it took it all day to cure. I don't want to be painting them outdoors and it start to rain. So what I'm going to do is refit them and then paint them in situ. I'm not going to fit these pieces in, and I'm not too worried about the white overlapping here because it will be covered by trim anyway. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fasten them in with these panel pins so that it'll hold close to the ceiling, and hopefully that will do. They're only tiny, and I'm going to fasten them here horizontally across just to pin them up, and that should be enough. And then I'm going to have to put bin bags across here just to catch any drips and then paint it. So that's the idea. So I'm going to mask it all up now, and while I'm masking that up, I may as well clean all this old Sikaflex off here, mask this up, and then seal this, because this window is leaking, and at least that will get rid of one of the main sources of the leaks, and then I can worry about the rest later. These little holes here, there's not a lot I can do about those right this minute. I'm going to leave that for a future job, which means there will be a tiny leak, but having epoxied the liner, hopefully that will save it from getting rotten while I get round to that. It's a bit of a bummer that I spotted it after I'd started the anti-slip paint, but it'll need doing, and then I'll have to reinstate the anti-slip afterwards. So okay, headlining is back up and the joints are pretty tidy, so by the time I've got the trim on you won't be able to notice them. Obviously the trim will pull that up, so that's all masked off ready, and this side is pretty much the same, all masked off ready. So I'm going to start mixing up some paint and see how much of that I can get on all of the cushions and things. One thing I hate doing more than fiberglassing upside down is painting upside down, because gravity wins every time. But that's the first coat on and it's looking loads better. I've done a clean up. I turned the cushions upside down so if anything did go on them then it would go on the underside. I also moved all of this when I did it, so it's not looking too bad, I think, as a start of a 10. So yeah, so cup of tea time and then a bit of a clean up, and then we'll see what we're doing next. I think it could be some video editing. My friend Kiki came around the other day. She's offered to teach me Greek, and we're starting with the alphabet. So here's the first 4 letters that I've got to learn. So A like apple, not A, A. V like vegetables, looks like a B but it's a V. Fru like jot but with a th, so fru. And then th, soft adhesive. Th. So I've got to do that. So yeah, va, because of the A makes it an accent, and then ruva, and what's that? Thav, and then ahra, and vath is the last one. I hope I got that right. Sorry Kiki if I didn't, but I'm working out on it, honest.